Welcome back to Lake Tahoe Television. Got Steve Kubby in the studio, City Council candidate. We're just talking about, I love to hear this about a City Council candidate. How many vertical feet did you ski last year?
1.2
million. 1,200,000. That's awesome, man. So you're obviously running for City Council candidate. And I think the first question is let's get to know you, man. What's a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm CEO of KPAL. It's a biotech research firm. In fact, I have to ask you to excuse the suit, but I have some
and I like it because you ask us to excuse the suit, because you know, being in Lake Tahoe, definitely not a suit town.
No. But we are developing FDA-approved medicines based on new developments and research in cannabinoid receptor systems. And in other words, we're making medical marijuana legitimate through FDA approval with our scientists and our development team.
That's an incredible thing to hear, and definitely sounds like focusing more on the medicinal properties. And it's good to have someone with that idea here in Lake Tahoe. And I know you have an emergency plan and what you think the direction that we should go.
Well, I'm a businessman and an entrepreneur. In fact, I was on the front cover of the Wall Street Journal in 2008, July. And I look at this as an entrepreneur, and I see, on the one hand, we have a tremendous number of businesses and homeowners that would like to improve their property, but they're being blocked. Sometimes up to a 7-year wait, 30% additional cost in construction. It discourages a lot of people, but there's a tremendous pent-up demand. But on the same hand, I see all of these construction companies struggling just to keep their basic crews employed. I see carpenters, electricians, plumbers struggling just to survive. And of course, the two things that keep this pent-up demand for construction and all these people that want to work separated is an organization called the Tahoe Regional Planning Agency. Now, I'm a tree hugger. I used to run outdoor education programs. I've hiked all through this area. But I also recognize that people are hurting right now. We've got a severe economic crisis. And we need to step up to the plate and start issuing simple, timely building permits so that people can make reasonable improvements on their homes, on their businesses, and we can get these people employed. Now, it turns out that the city of Lake Tahoe does have the authority to do these things. We've deferred to the TRPA. We're told that they're a federal agency, so that they have a supremacy clause argument that we have to do what they say. That's just not true. The 10th Amendment clearly states that they have to have enumerated duties in order to qualify for that supremacy clause protection. So the bottom line is that if the city acts now and starts opening up the process of quick and easy, reasonable building permits, we can get our people employed, and we can get them employed very quickly. In fact, I'd like to see no more than 2 weeks allotted for the building permit process, and and at the end of 10 business days, they either approve it, they tell you why they can't approve it and what you need to do to fix it. And if they don't do either of those two things, I think the approval should be automatic. We have to get our people working. We have this pent-up demand for construction. It just makes sense that now is the time to revisit our policies regarding issuing these building permits and make it as easy and as reasonable and as simplified as possible.
Yeah, we definitely need to, start to change the status quo to make something happen. And obviously a successful man on the cover of the Wall Street Journal. Why did you decide to run for, a city council office position?
Well, I love this town, and even though I've only been here for a year, I've lived in Tahoe for 25 years. I did 20 years. I did 5 years at Squaw, and before that, 15 years served on the at North Star, served on the council there. In fact, I identified funds, reserve funds, with the road department for snow removal. And I said, look, you guys are the road department. Can't we just take all this reserve money that you set aside for snow and use it to fix our potholes and pave our streets? You know what? I got every pothole fixed, every street repaved at no expense to North Star. It was all covered by reserve funds that were just sitting there waiting for someone to pick them up and use them in an appropriate manner.
Yeah, sometimes you just have things just right under your nose that you don't realize, and it takes, you know, a fresh outlook to get in there and to utilize those funds for the proper channels.
Well, I think this city needs to rethink its whole policy, its whole approach with the city council. I mean, basically the city council is just a rubber stamp. It's even worse than that. It's become a lapdog to the TRPA and to other organizations, government or agencies. And we need to change that. We need to turn the city council into a guard dog that stands up for our constitutional rights, doesn't let people push us around, make sure that our people are employed, make sure that our homeowners and our businesses have their constitutional rights to due process and to property rights respected. And we have the authority to do that. We just need to have someone such as myself that's used to thinking out of the box, that can come in there and make some simple changes. I'm not saying it's not going to be difficult, but we can make those simple changes. We can assert our authority, and we can take back our power, restore our property rights, and force the government to be our to stop making us a slave and start doing what we need done around here.
Yeah, exactly. Work for us, not work against us, I think is the important thing.
Exactly.
And then finally, what separates you? I know we got 11 candidates, you know, that are running for these 3 positions. Why should people vote for Steve Kubby?
Well, as I've just pointed out, this city needs to rethink what it's doing, and it needs an out-of-the-box approach. And I've just outlined a plan that would literally re-employ a big segment of our community in what, 30 days? I mean, 2 weeks to get the approvals, and then people are going to need carpenters, contractors, plumbers, electricians, and these people are ready to work. I promise you, I've talked to them. They're definitely ready for the work.
Absolutely, Steve. If people want more information about voting for you, your platform, and how they can vote, how can they get that information?
www.Kubby4 City Council.
Right on. Steve, thank you for taking the time to join us. Steve Kubby, City Council candidate. Make sure you get out there, get your voice heard. If you want more information, Kubby4citycouncil.com. We'll be right back with more of Lake Tahoe TV's Tahoe Today.